Hi, my name is Brandon, and I'm an alcoholic and addict in recovery. I'm taking a break from talking about the book that I'm reading today because the chapter that I read, I had a hard time finding things that I agreed with in the chapter, and even those things I disagreed with, I wasn't sure exactly how to talk about them. So there was one thing that was mentioned that brought to mind what I consider a misconception about Alcoholics Anonymous and the way that the program of Alcoholics Anonymous works. And it seems that a lot of people have the conception that in Alcoholics Anonymous, there is blame placed on the character of the alcoholic for that person's alcoholism. That the idea is that because of character defects, that's why we drink. And I think part of this misconception is related to the emphasis that's placed on working on character defects as part of recovery. But I wanted to point out that I was not, when I was introduced to the program of Alcoholics Anonymous, I was not taught that I drank because of my character defects. I was taught that I drank because alcohol was addictive and that the way my body reacted to it and the way I learned how to deal with the world around me, that led me to increase my intake of alcohol to a point where it was destroying my life. What I was taught about character defects was that they're not the cause of my alcoholism, but working on my character defects in the name of spiritual conditioning, in the name of spiritual maintenance, is an important part of recovery. And that it's not that there's something defective with me. It's not that there's something wrong with my character. It's just that, like all human beings, I have character defects. That's not unique to alcoholics or addicts. All human beings have character defects. Not all human beings make a conscious effort to work on those defects and try to be better each day and try to learn from the things and be aware of the way that they're selfish, the way that they're self-serving. Not all people try to examine their ego and pride and look at those on a daily basis and think, okay, what could I have done different today and what can I do different tomorrow? And what I was taught was that it's important for alcoholics and addicts in recovery to do this because, as the big book of AA says, what we really have when we're talking about the relief that we get from being sober, the relief that we get from living a sober life, what we really have is a daily reprieve contingent on the maintenance of our spiritual condition. And so working on my character defects is not to say that the reason for my alcoholism is because I'm a selfish person. I know plenty of selfish people who don't drink at all. I know plenty of, pardon my French, but I know a lot of assholes who do not have alcohol problems. So it's not to say that these character defects cause the problem, but working on them is a key component of the solution. And I think a lot of people have that misconception that Alcoholics Anonymous and similar programs really focus on blaming the person and their character for the problem. That's not the way the program was explained to me. The way the program was explained to me was that The problem is caused by a lot of unique circumstances that have their root in the addictive nature of alcohol as a drug. The solution is something that's not, to be honest, it's not particularly unique. It's a spiritual solution, the kind that many religions have been espousing for centuries, if not longer. The simple idea that if I recognize the things that I didn't like that I did today and try to improve on them tomorrow, that I will that will help me get through life, and for me as an alcoholic will help me avoid situations where I feel compelled to take the bottle back up as a solution to the challenges that I encounter in life. And I think that for me, that has been one of the most beautiful things about the program, is that I always wanted to be a better person. I just didn't really know how to do it. And going through the steps of Alcoholics Anonymous not only helps me make up for a little lost time where I really was not thinking about anything but myself, and also teaches me how to do that so that then I can apply it on a daily level. That seemed to be something that a lot of people take issue with, is that Alcoholics Anonymous treat alcoholics and addicts as defective people, as people who have these problems with them that they have to overcome these problems. And I felt compelled to say that's not how I was taught. And I think just going out and being around other people proves that alcoholics and addicts are not the only self-serving, egotistical, and prideful people in the world. We just happen to be in a situation where those character defects also contribute to this terrible affliction that we deal with. And the solution for dealing with that affliction involves taking care to be mindful of those character defects and to have regular work where we look at what we've done during the day and say, well, what can I do a little better tomorrow? So I'd be very interested to hear any comments about this, any thoughts about this, because I'm sure that there have been people who have been taught differently in the program of Alcoholics Anonymous, or people who have represented it differently. But I did feel like it was important to say this because I see it written in the book that I'm reading, as well as in other areas, that there seems to be this misconception, and it's just not quite what I was taught. So that's it for today. I'll be back here tomorrow with more. Have a good one.